Brian Powers here on New Jersey Revolution Radio. We're here at Westside High School in Newark today with Afrika, who's a lifelong resident of Newark, right?
Yes, yes. I grew up in this city my entire life. I went to Alexander Street School, Velsburg Middle, Sussex Avenue. I graduated from Westside High School. Then I went down to Essex County College, got a degree from there. Then I went to Keene University and got 2 more degrees.
Yeah. Do you have family here?
Oh, my whole family's here. My mother, my brothers, my sisters, my kids, we're all here.
Yeah. So what brings us out to Westside High School today? Why is you're with the new African Black Panther Party?
Yes, I am.
And so why are we out here at Westside High School today?
About a week ago, we saw it on the bulletin that they were going to build a new correctional facility next to the high school. So we started doing research to see what was going on. And by the end of the week, it was actually confirmed by the mayor himself. He didn't call it a correctional facility. He called it something else. But we all know what it's going to be. But as somebody that's part of this community, I went to all the institutions this community has to offer. I went to prison. I did 5 years. When I walked out of prison, everything I saw in prison, I said I was going to come home and try to change. I thought, to me, I didn't think anybody knew what was going on. Right. So I said, when I walk out of prison, I'm going to go to the city council. I'm going to do this, do that, and tell everybody. But the more I told them, the more I spoke, it seemed like they already knew, and they didn't care. Like everything was already in motion. So I told myself, I'm going to go back to school. This is 2008. I'm going to go back to school, get a sociology degree, get a history degree to understand the issues in our community. So I started a nonprofit. For 10 years, I worked for free. Me and my family funded it. We basically put borders around the children, blinders. We picked them up 7 o'clock in the morning, took them to school. After school, we had after-school programs. After the after-school program, then we chose an activity that the child wanted. The activity was the magnet, like basketball or football. That was the magnet that drew the kid in. See, I used my scholarship, what I was learning in school, and I put it into practice. So we used basketball. So after the after-school program, we went to basketball. And we took the kids home like around 7, 8 o'clock at night. I did that for about 5, 6 years. Then I started noticing when I got the kids to the school itself was corrupting the child. The school was changing the ideology and everything that I put into the child. So I tried to find my way to get into the school so I could work with the kids in the school. But I had a felony. So they wouldn't allow me to teach in the school. They wouldn't allow me to be in the school. Right. But all the kids that I worked with, because I dedicated my life to them, they were good at basketball. So the schools had to take me. If they didn't take me, they couldn't have the child. So the schools brought me in, and I was working with the kids. But it became a problem, because when I was teaching the kids about ethics, about looking at the world from a bigger view instead of capitalism and money, the school was against that. The school wanted the kid to go to school just to be a worker. And I was preaching to the child, just like with sports, it's teamwork. We got to go to council meetings, school board meetings. Like I was running into issues because the school itself, like they function with a rationality of capital, of money. It was a business. They didn't reason. They didn't care about reason. So that relationship couldn't work. Because while I was fighting for the kids, the teachers was fighting for contracts. So it's like we kept butting heads. So finally, when I kept telling the reporting, writing complaints, the administration that the teachers, the administrations were racist, they pushed me away out of the school. They called police. They wouldn't allow me to enter the schools. So I left the schools and said, you know what? I must tackle the politics. I must go to City Hall and tackle those who control these facilities. Those who control the school board, the councilmen, the mayors. I must do that. And I have to get on the streets and start organizing, working with actual people. That's how we got out here. I just gave you like the short.
That's great. No, I appreciate the background. I appreciate the background. And now, so they're planning. Can you show me where we're here right now? Do you know exactly where they might be planning on putting this thing?
It's either going to be right here across the street from the school or block down where the brewery used to be. There used to be a brewery.
So you can see this empty lot.
Yeah, this empty lot.
Right over here.
Or right on the other side of this buildings right here. There used to be a brewery that sat there for years. But the brewery was condemned about 20, 30 years ago. And now they're saying the land is toxic itself. And they're saying they're gonna put the school there. If you look, you can see it because these bricks are right here. But that's a cemetery. All the way down is cemetery. So not only did they build a cemetery next to the high school, now they want to build a prison facing the cemetery and the high school, which actually says we don't need a pipeline no more. You could just go straight from the high school, straight to the prison, straight to the cemetery. Like, what kind of visual is that? Like, how do you see the people if these are the remedies that you have to save them? Now, like I said, I went and got a sociology degree. I dare anybody to show me in the history of the world where a prison has actually helped the community. I can't find nowhere in the history of America where prisons have sustained any community. When I went to prison, when most of the people I knew went to prison that I grew up with, when they came out, they couldn't get jobs. You live in a socio-economic society. How do you sustain yourself, your family, in a socio-economic society if you can't get employment? So all these things stop adding up. They don't add up. So when I see a politician who called himself a revolutionary, because Baraka says he's a revolutionary, as far as a revolutionary, like when he walks into the room, he walks with a strut, and he one of us. Like, I'm gonna back up and show you the strut. Like when you see him, when you see him walk into any event, he comes in there with the strut, like he's from the streets, like he's one of us. But how can you be one of us if you want to send our kids to prison? There's no revolution in the history of the world that has ever said build prisons to save your people. I've never heard that kind of talk. And Baraka is no dummy. I worked for him. When I walked out of prison, because I believed in him, I went and worked for him. I worked for him for free. I used to go over there putting up signs. I was on this advanced team. I went over there, stood there. When he came to an event, I was the first person there, making sure he was safe. I didn't know this is what he was going to do. I didn't know this was the kind of human being he was. But be that as it may, now that I know this, I can't stand Ali Ba. I don't get paid by nobody. Nobody pay us to come out here. You turn over here, you see these kids out here. Some of them are my kids, my nephews. These are my friends. Nobody's giving us money. We're not provocateurs. We live here. Our water is poison. Look at the water. If you look on the street, there's water leaking from somewhere. There's water leaking from somewhere. It's coming from somewhere. There's nobody out here to fix it. It's gallons of water. It's coming right out of the school. There's no money to fix none of this, but you have billions of dollars to go build a prison next door. I cannot support such things. I can't. Like, my soul would not allow this to happen. So whether they got to build it on top of us or what, but we are not allowing this prison to happen. I don't care if it's only one of us. If we're the only ones out here speaking. We all want to be inside. I want to be inside watching TV right now. It's Easter weekend. I want to be with my family. My mother's home cooking right now. The family's supposed to be coming over to eat, to celebrate. Yep. But I can't do that. I can't sit home and then next week, next month, 6 months from now, I'm driving by South Orange Ave and it's a prison, a youth correctional facility. For the youth, how do you lock up children? How do you cage children? A few months ago, Baraka was on TV and he was saying like, Trump has to get rid of the what was it? When they was locking up the children? The ICE prisons. Yeah, gotta get rid of the ICE prisons. Gotta stop locking up babies at the border. But what about our babies? Our babies don't matter. Our babies don't count. For capital, these people will do anything. They have no morals. They have no ethics. That's why they call themselves liberals. Because once you're a liberal, you could go with anything. You could agree with anything. But when you stand on principles, when you stand on ethics, look, man, I come from the school of Marx. I come from the school of Du Bois. I come from the school of Fanon. I come from the school of Lenin. None of those people have ever said to me when I'm reading their books, because I feel like they're talking to me when I'm reading. They're telling me what happened in the past so that I know now and don't make the mistakes. And they're telling me how to organize my community. They never say build a prison next to school where you educate kids.
I've read some of that stuff myself, and I've never read it.
Like, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me to, because like, we live, right? We on Facebook, we live.
Yes, we are live on Facebook right now.
If anybody has something that says that, show it to me. And I'll say, you know what, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, we go back to the lab and we'll study. But I don't believe that's nowhere, that's written anywhere. I believe this is a corporate thing. This is a corporate thing to commodify human beings, to make human beings capital. So now you put every kid that you put in there, like they're worth a couple of $1,000s to somebody in the free market somewhere. Free market, ain't that a joke? How the hell is it free when I can't get in there? I'm telling you, like all these words, and then they're gonna call it a correctional facility. Look, I did 5 years in a correctional facility. I went to no school. I had no programs. In fact, you fill out the sheet for the programs that you want to go to. You know what they tell you? You're on the waiting list. By the time it's time for you to go to them programs, it's time for you to leave. So you walk right back onto the into society with nothing. With nothing. The only thing you leave out of there with is the clothes on your back or the jeans that they get, the blue jeans or jacket that they give you to walk out. You have nothing. How is that human being supposed to survive in this society? Then when you go to get jobs, I'm going to tell you my story. When I went to go get jobs, I'm never going to jail. They will never lock me up again. I'm going to be an outstanding, great black man for my people. You know what happened when I went there? You got a felony. We can't hire you. Some of the places I went to down in the neck, they had all these immigrants in there, paying them $2, $3, $4 an hour. And when they saw me come in there, they were threatened. They're like, no, we cannot hire him, because if we hire him, he's going to tell on us. So they'll tell me, we'll call you, and they never call me. Like, this is like real things that happen to real people, but nobody sees it. It's not on MSNBC, it's not on Fox, all this media, these people that they call it, what they call a free press. How is...
There is no free press.
I'm telling you, like, they lie about everything. Like, this is, what is it?
You're on the free press right now?
Yeah, this is
about 2 dozen people are going to say.
This is the only free press.
This is the
only free press.
Thank you for being there, Facebook.
Yo, thank you, man. We need more people. Yo, you got to get away from MSNBC and come here. This is where you're going to get the real news. If you're watching MSNBC, Fox, CNN, you're bamboozled and hoodwinked. You need to come Revolutionary Radio, right?
New Jersey Revolution Radio.
New Jersey Revolutionary Radio. Look, it's only like 10 of us out here. And where you came from just now?
Woodbridge.
He drove from Woodbridge to come out here and cover this. No, because he cares. This is not about money. We're not paying him. We don't have no money. I don't have no money. I ain't got no job. We out here for free. He came out here on a Friday. You could be at home right now relaxing.
I could be. It's what I'm going to do very shortly, just so you know.
But you're putting in work first.
Of course.
You're putting in work. Now, this is big. Like, don't minimize what you do. Like, we all talk about superheroes. We sit home and we watch the Avengers. Mm-hmm. We are the superheroes.
Sure.
No, the superheroes of today speak truth to power. You stand up when the whole world says you're wrong. And you tell and you affirm that you're right. It takes courage, man. It takes guts. It takes character to walk out of your house. You got on, put your clothes on, and drove all the way down. You paid toll. You ain't get down here for free. You paid gas to come and do the right thing. Yeah. I mean, like, you are a superhero. You must. You see, like, you don't want to. Hey, yo, brother, y'all know they're about to build a prison over here. They're about to youth correctional facility right next to the school. I mean, like, that's deep. Right there or next to the. Remember where they had that big beer bottle down there? It's out of here or down there. I mean, it's deep. But let me finish this, man. Cause I gotta tell you, cause as I've been in this game for about 12 years since I walked out of prison, and I've been fighting back. Yo, it gets hard. There are times when you're home and you wonder, like, should you really do this? Is this really worth it? Because you got bills to pay. You got a family to take care of. But you still get up the next day and you put your clothes on and you come and do the right thing. I'm sure, just like me, there are jobs you passed up because you want to do the right thing.
You just got fired from one.
You just got fired from one. No, so when you say you're not a superhero, it's because you're not looking at it from that perspective. Nah. You are a superhero. You are my superhero. I will follow you wherever you go. From now on, since you're standing here fighting with me, you're more my brother than Baraka.
That's great. And I appreciate the voice that the new African Black Panther Party has brought to the scene in activism. We were lucky enough to broadcast the event you guys did at the library. I don't know if you were involved in that.
I was there.
You were there? It was awesome, and people are watching it, and I think that, you know, the tradition of the Black Panthers, the narrative of the Black Panthers, the 10-point program, it's something, whether we get, like you said, you know, there's 10 people here, but that information being out there for people to learn from and to understand why that 10-point program relates to our society. And one of those things is to get rid of prisons and to educate our children. And these are simple demands. This is not a radical thing.
No.
You know, just because we're communists doesn't mean you have to be a communist to want schools for your children and food for your family and a decent roof over your head. These are normal things for human beings to demand.
But think about that. Know? Like, even the word communist, growing up as a kid, they made it sound so taboo. Like, when you put on MSNBC, Fox, they talk about all this thing like it's, but what is communist? Commune.
Yeah.
For us to come together. Fuck racism. Can I say that?
You can say, whatever the fuck you want.
No, but seriously, fuck racism. How do we beat racism if we're not together? If we're not say it again?
Communing.
Yeah.
Communing.
That word, communing. If we're not together, how do we stop it? This is the only way you stop all of them isms. You have to come together and talk and speak and talk about ideas. They don't want us to do that. They want to divide us. They want to divide us by telling us to hate Trump. We could hate Trump all day, but that's not going to change the institutions itself. They're not telling us to change the institutions. They're saying hate Trump, vote against Trump. How could they tell us to vote for Hillary?
Yeah.
If you really care about people, Hillary got bodies all over this planet. Her husband got bodies all over this planet. Obama got bodies all over this planet. And you're telling us to vote for these people, to go and stand up and say and pledge allegiance to these people. No, I'd rather stand with you, brother. I'd rather be out here with you anytime. Yo, you call me anytime. Man, look, you call Africa anytime and I'm there. Hey, Brother Zulu, come here, come talk to the brother. Oh, okay, that's the camera. All right, baby.
Does anybody else want to have an interview while we got the live stream going? Anybody else that wants to come over? We'll have,
This Poppy right here. Poppy about to come over here.
Okay.
Now, he's a basketball player. He has over 1,000 and something points in high school.
Poppy
Roberts. Poppy, come here, Poppy.
Come on over, man. Come on over.
No, this is Gabe, right? This is Gabe. He's 12 years old.
Nice to meet you, Brian. Gabe? And
come on this side.
Come on in. Get in the shot here. All right. You're on Facebook Live now. And so tell me what you're doing here today, man.
Well, we're protesting against the prison. Okay. It's being built behind the high school, and people could see that. Like, it's like basically saying, like, as you go to high school, you go to prison. There's a cemetery over there, so like at the prison, you're probably going to die or you're going back to prison.
How old are you, man?
12.
12. And so is this something? Do you go to school right here?
No.
No.
I used to go to school over here, then I transferred.
Okay. But this is something you don't want in your community at all, do you?
No.
When you go to school, are kids talking about the impact that prisons have on their families and stuff?
No.
No? Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and coming out here today. Good luck with the protest and good luck, man, all right? All right, thank you. All right. Nice to see you guys. I'm on a live stream? Come on on. Hi, I'm Brian, and you are?
Yona.
Yona, where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Newark.
You're from Newark. And do you go to school here?
No, I go to school downtown.
Go to school downtown. So what brings you out here today with the new African Black Panther Party?
Well, my uncle, he's Africa, right?
Yes.
So I remember, like, my uncle, he was sent to jail for 5 years. And, like, I did not see him that entire time. And what brings me out here is that in our schools, we're not taught the things that we need to be taught. Like, why is it that during African Black History Month, we were learning about Russia and them in 1904, but yet we're not learning about us now and us in 1966. That's why I'm out here with the new African Black Panther Party.
What kind of, is there an African curriculum here in Newark schools that you feel needs to be expanded? What have you learned about that culture that you feel is missing?
What I feel is missing is that we don't learn what we should. We don't learn what we have done. We just learn what people have done to us and how we never learned how we responded. We never learned how we felt. We just learned how the Europeans came and they got together and they tried to find out how to divide Africa. We didn't learn how they divided us. We didn't learn how we reacted when they divided us. We didn't learn any of that.
So it's all colonized history, in other words. They're not teaching you the true heritage of African people. They're teaching you more the colonized history of African people. Have you heard of the Amistad curriculum?
No.
Okay, well, I have an episode on that and I'll share it with you. But is there anything else you'd like to say before you go?
I'd like to say that for people who live in Newark, who live in this area, I'd like them to come out and stand up for this. Because, like, it's just like, what, 7 of us? That's not enough people to bring out change. So, like, we need more people to come out and speak on their beliefs.
Okay. And they can get in touch with you through your Facebook page, the new African Black Panther Party Facebook page? I think that's how I found you guys.
Yeah. We also have an Instagram account. We're working on a website right now. I'm part of the social media department. It's _NABPP. That's our Instagram account. We have 2 posts on it, and I really like people to come out and comment what they want to see from us and share with us, like, what they need to say.
It's a great message, and we're going to help you get it out there as much as we can. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me today. All right? Thank you. Come on over, man.
How you doing?
Brian Powers, you are?
Ascar from the United Panther Movement, New African Black Panther Party.
Oh, great. Thanks for joining me today. Are you a resident of Newark here?
I am a resident of Irvington, but I do see what goes on in the community of Newark. I'm actually tapped in because of my ties to the organization, the New African Black Panther Party. What we are about is we are an organization who stands for the people. We want to educate the people. Teach them their rights as citizens. Teach them what the powers they possess in order to change their own future instead of having to rely on somebody else who's supposed to say they represent you. We're supposed to represent ourselves. And together as we stand and teach each other and we learn as we grow and keep on teaching, there's no doubt in my mind that we stand together as one unit, we could definitely overturn some of the atrocities that we face.
So this is just one particular issue that the new African Black Panther Party is.
Just one particular issue. We organize over at the Hay Street Library off of Springfield Avenue. We interact with the community a lot. We try to teach them things about laws about how do you attack rent control. Your landlord charges you $1,500, maybe $1,200 to $1,500 a month to stay in subpar house with rats, roaches, all in the building, piss in the elevators. Excuse my language.
That's okay.
It's just subpar conditions for existence and survival. How do you expect somebody to actually prosper and be somebody who contributes wholeheartedly to society when they see that society turns their back on them? And so we try to give people hope by giving them knowledge. And hopefully with that knowledge, they take that as power to take action.
No, thanks a lot for coming out today, man. Appreciate what you're doing. I know that from what I've seen of the new African Black Panther Party, you're welcome here in New Jersey, all over the place. Proud to be a part of it, man. Thank you. All right. Take care of yourself. I think that's it, everybody. So thanks for checking out the live stream here today. We'll be putting this out on a podcast later. Only NJR, that's right, Tom. Oh, we have Shaka here. Is Shaka gonna come on real quick? Okay, we can't go nowhere without talking to the chairman real quick. Chairman, how'd it go today? I think that the energy is here. I know it's small, but the message is spot on. What are your thoughts on today's showing?
Oh man, I'm excited. I think this is an example of what we should be doing in this city here. Look, we just started this organization January the 7th of this year. And we have nearly 20 members. Some couldn't come as a result of working and other obligations. But we here today. And you see majority are young people. And they're raising their voice because their future is at stake. This is about a future where they're going to have good jobs, good education, where they're going to have good housing, instead of a prison that is being built in order to dehumanize and degrade the humanity of young people in our community. This is a shame. Baraka stood against this at one time. Baraka was in the streets and said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. But now they want to build a prison right across the street from Westside High School. We got to stand against this. Any thinking person, sane thinking person in New Jersey and in around the world must raise their voice against this, because what they are saying is that mass incarceration is our children's future, and schools and jobs are not really there for them. They're saying the reason why we're building this prison because we anticipate there's going to be more crime in this community, because poverty is already here. Look around, Brian. You see it. You don't see none of this downtown where these new houses is being built, where the jobs are being built at. Talk to these people in this community. They are upset, dissatisfied, discontent, and they feel like the Baraka administration has left them behind. So we're going to hold them accountable for that. You know, if we had a white administrator here, this crowd would be bigger. Mm-hmm. You know, if we had a white administrator here, they'll be bigger. But Baraka used the golden bullets of dollarism to seduce the activists in this community, and as a result, the job they have, the card they have, the status they have is more important than the child's life, more important than the child's future. But I tell you one thing, Brian, we're going to be here. This is our first day. We're going to be here. We're going to continue to be here, and we're going to chase this nappy head out of town, because we're not going to stand for a black capitalist or a white capitalist or any kind of capitalist to come into our community to take the money out of town by sundown, and Baraka is doing that. Building a prison means they got to knock down those houses over there, because you got to put up a watchtower. Building a prison means you got to extend the street back some, because you got to build the perimeter gate in order to patrol that prison. So these poor people that have been living in this community all of their life, some 50, 60 years, been living in this community, will lose their housing under eminent domain or by bribery. And this is how the enemy operates. They will come and say, okay, we want this house for $30,000. Now, if you don't give it up, the government have what they call eminent domain. We could take this as a result of an emergency. Is Baraka going to declare eminent domain against brothers and sisters he used to march with in these streets? Think about that. Ras Baraka used to march in these streets. They shut traffic down on Elizabeth Avenue for almost a whole year because of a killing down there. And we're doing the exact same thing. What happened to those groups that was with him at that time? Our children are dying. Our children are crying. Our parents are helpless, hopeless. Our community is blighted. Where is the help going to come from? Building a prison ain't going to help. Building a prison is going to continue the mass incarceration phenomenon. You read Michelle Alexander's Jim Crow book?
I hope if my audience haven't, they need to.
She explains in that book how the new Jim Crow is the modern day version of the old Jim Crow, except it's being used within the criminal justice context. They're coming up with laws. They're coming up with restrictions, constraints, everything to impede the flow and movement of oppressed people. Ras Baraka, this is a shame. You said that you can't be an activist because you're a mayor. Well, we don't believe that. A revolutionary is a revolutionary. Whether you're in the halls of the enemy government, whether you're in the enemy prison, or whether you're on the streets, if you stand for principle, if you stand for justice, if you stand for morality, if you stand for integrity, you're going to stand against a prison being erected in your community. Don't tell me, oh, I'm a mayor today, so I can't be an activist. Fidel Castro was an activist. You telling me Fidel Castro wasn't an activist? He was the head of state. Samora Machel of Mozambique was the head of state, but he continued to be an activist. Mao Zedong, the Algerian revolutionaries, because it's not about seizing power and then your responsibility in. It's about building the nation, about building the people. Ras Baraka, they put you there because they thought you was going to build the nation, build the city. But instead, you are throwing our kids to the wolves, to the hyenas, the vulture capitalists, the hedge fund managers. They called them to Trenton the other day because he put out Monday. They said, we're going to hold a demonstration against this prison construction. The Paradise Baptist Church on 15th Avenue put out a leaflet, a flyer. And some forces, some people connected to Ras Baraka pushed that flyer to us. They said we want the new African Black Panther Party to stand with us against this prison being constructed. So we planned on going Wednesday to raise our voices in opposition to that. Instead, Ras Baraka, like a thief in the night, put out a statement saying that the prison was not going to be built, absolutely was not going to be built, therefore you don't need to demonstrate. And the forces that was connected to us withered away because Ras Baraka was able to weaken their resolve to stand against injustice.
Are you telling me a politician in New Jersey lied to you?
That's exactly what I'm saying. A politician. Ras Baraka lied to the masses of the people. I don't care about you lying to me, Ras Baraka. I'm a revolutionary. I know what lies look like. I care about you lying to the people. You said you was against the construction of this prison on West Side by West Side High School. You got called down to Trenton by Governor Murphy yesterday, and Governor Murphy said to him, nigga, who told you to make a decision without consulting with me? And you hold a press conference saying, well, our young people in the community are violent, so we do need a prison on South Orange Avenue. That is a shame. That is a crying shame. And we will not tolerate that. I'm going to put my life on the line for this here because I'm not going to allow my young people in this community to grow up being incarcerated or have an incarcerated mentality because everywhere they go, there is a prison around them. Look at this, Brian. Think about it. There's a school right there. Right in back of that school is an elementary school. Right across the street is a lot where kids play at. And right there are housing by poor people. And Ras Baraka wants to build a prison to tear this community down, to put more cops out here. put more cops on the street. Shame on you, Baraka. And Martin Luther King said something. He said that, and Malcolm X said it too. Do not allow yourself to be seduced by the trappings of the enemy system, because they will weaken your resolve to be strong. We say all power to the people. We say death, death. I mean this, death to this prison. And we're going to put our lives on the line. Death to this prison. And Baraka, over our dead body will we allow you to incarcerate our children's future. All power to the people.
Thanks a lot, Chairman. I appreciate your time today. So, you know, the community in Newark has been through a lot. People of New Jersey know it. It is our biggest city. And, of course, those of us that are politically educated agree with the new African Black Panther Party and the rest of the New Jersey Revolution Radio community that prisons are definitely not the answer. I want to thank them for inviting me to the protest today. I want to encourage you to check out the new African Black Panther Party on Facebook. We'll be providing links on our website soon, along with a report for a podcast. So thanks a lot, everybody. If I don't talk to you, have a great Easter, and see you soon. Oh, and visit us at www.njrevolutionradio.com.
Yo, you can invite him to a meeting, take his number.
All power to the people, sister. Good to see you out here. Yeah. And thank you for coming, Brian.
Oh, no problem. I'll get with you in a minute, man. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I got something for you. This is what us as a people become self-determined. Self-determining people. We gotta get self-determined. We gotta get people out there. We gotta get them out there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The one thing we can get. Come on, John. Yo, come up and do shit. That's the thing, we're not only using one way to get to and even when I'm eating, it's like my hunger.
Yeah, well, no, I read on vacation.
But I just
Got my book. I'll be reading.
Hey, Brian.
More buttons. Hold on.
going to buy anything? Why am I going to buy another version of the same game that I just beat? See, you care about that because you're younger, and I was like that when I was younger. But at 23, I'm like, bro, if you're not, these people, like, if you're not doing something amazing that I've never seen before, like what? Like, yeah, CW communication. You heard about him, but so what is there that's new? Drop me a line. So why are you mentioning it? You trying to make it? Send me in the link she got with the CWA coming out.
A lot of what I know. Just say, like, if you get a local name or you hear, like, there's I wouldn't be surprised if CWA, because CWA, Murphy's ass so far.
I got you. Thank you again, Brian. Yeah, I'll put something out probably in the morning, and then I'm on vacation next week. But I'll be around, all right? No problem. Talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. All right, thank you very much, everybody. It was a really great protest. Thank you. My wife, Patience. Hi, nice to meet you. Good, thank you very much. Nice meeting you. All right, guys. See you next one, all right? Talk to you.